Imagine waking up one day and finding that all your apps, your data, even your banking and government services, everything depends on foreign system. That could be cut off at any moment. That's not far-fetched. It's a risk India is facing right now. But by 2030, all of that could change. Welcome to Digital Swaraj, India's ambitious push for tech independence from the US. In this video, we'll look at what makes India vulnerable, what steps Delhi is taking, and whether by 2030 it will really be able to stand on its own digital feet. Stay till the end to see what this means not just for politics but for your everyday life. For decades, India's digital infrastructure, smartphone, operating system, cloud storage like Android, Apple iOS, AWS, Google, Microsoft, you name it. These are the systems that run critical parts of our daily lives. But this dependence is now revealing its risk. A recent report by the Global Trade Research Initiative or GTRI warns that the US-based software and the cloud services pose serious economic and national security vulnerabilities for India. If access is cut off, government services like banking, digital payments, they could be disrupted. What is Digital Swaraj? What's being proposed? To deal with these risks, GTRI is calling for a Digital Swaraj mission by 2030. The plan includes building sovereign cloud infrastructure, developing homegrown operating system, strengthening cybersecurity, nurturing a domestic AI ecosystem, and even creating Indian social media alternatives. Think of it like invisible infrastructure. If the underlying software like data pipeline and servers are controlled at home, then foreign tech firms can't pull the plugs, change terms unilaterally, or hoard large tracts of Indian data. India wants not just to use tech, but to own the tech stack. Now, why it matters and the stakes? Let's break down the stakes. Security vulnerabilities. Most Indian devices now run on US controlled OS and cloud services. A freeze on restriction from foreign provider could paralyze essential services, for example, payments, government data filing, law enforcement, public health infrastructure. Now, second, data sovereignty. Your data is valuable, not just personally, but strategically. Huge user base is equal to huge data. India's data is fueling AI research, ad revenues, and predictive analytics in US. But if India doesn't have laws and infrastructure to protect or control it, big chunk of that power lie outside the country. Now, economic opportunity. Third point, building your own cloud like OS, AI tools, data centers isn't cheap, but if India succeeds, it becomes a huge tech exporter, create jobs, grows its own tech industry, also reduce import dependency, trade deficit tied to licensing or cloud subscription fee abroad. Challenges and roadblocks. But it's not going to be easy. There are big challenges. Challenge 1, scale and investment. Building sovereign cloud infrastructure, OS, AI training data, chip making capacity, all these need massive capital and research. India is investing, but global leaders like US, China have huge head starts. Environment where Indian startups can compete globally, avoid brain drain, attract investment, etc. Now, third challenge, regulatory and policy hurdle. Data localization law, regulation of platforms, maybe restriction on foreign apps, these often come with trade-offs: privacy versus innovation, protectionism versus openness. Misstep here can stifle growth or discourage investment. Challenge number 4: interoperability and global standards. Even if India builds its own OS or cloud, other countries, businesses, and software may still depend on standards set elsewhere. Compete, Complete isolation isn't possible. India must balance self reliance with compatibility. Now, fifth and last, the deadline 2030 is just around the corner, only 5 years away. Many of these systems take years to build, test, and then scale. Any delays can push the timeline or lead to compromises. Now, what India has already done? India isn't starting from zero. Here are some current moves showing the momentum. So, first example here is push for digital public infrastructure DPI. In this DPI, India have done some significant achievement like Aadhaar, UPI, ONDC, etc., giving India powerful tools in payment, identity, commerce. These are made in India and are quite resilient. Now, second point here is law and policy measures. Data protection laws, rules for social media, platform oversight, data localization in sectors like banking, telecom, etc. Third point here is attracting investment. Technology giants planning big data center in India, incentives for domestic chip fabrication, focus on AI emission. So, what need to happen? A roadmap. Let's decode this. So, what must India do to achieve digital Swaraj by 2030? Here's a possible roadmap I'm trying to lay out for you. Prioritize sovereign cloud infrastructure and invest in domestic data centers. Ensure affordable, reliable bandwidth across the country. Develop or scale open source operating systems, tools, maybe even an Indian OS or locally adopted OS to reduce dependency on US alternatives. Strengthen, third point I would like to give is strengthen cybersecurity, incident response teams, trustworthy supply chains, auditing of foreign tech components. Fourth point, foster AI and ML research domestically with Indian language models, compute capacity, ethical guidelines. Fifth point, enact strong data regulation and protection while balancing innovation and foreign investment. Must ensure privacy and portability, but also national security. Encourage a startup culture with support, incentive, reduce bureaucratic obstacle, promote public-private partnership. Last point in this roadmap, monitor progress transparently. Set midpoint like 2016 to 2018 to evaluate cloud localization, number of domestic alternatives, percentage of digital public infrastructure running on local technologies. If all goes well, by 2030, India could reduce its vulnerabilities to foreign tech shocks, have greater digital autonomy, and perhaps even become a net exporter of critical software, cloud services, etc. Now, conclusion: what it means for ordinary people. What does Digital Swaraj mean for you, the citizen, the small business owner, the students? More control over your data, more local alternatives, possibly cheaper services, more jobs in your town, but also increase responsibility, supporting local tech, being aware of privacy, and pushing for accountability. Will India really get there by tech dependency backfires? In the next video, we'll dig into where China, the EU, and others have already done this, and what India can learn from them. Drop a comment. What part of digital Swaraj do you think matters most? Data privacy, AI, OS, or cloud? I love to hear your thoughts. Thank you. Have a good one.